It looked like an ordinary dime, small. Silver. Forgettable, the kind of coin most people drop in a tip jar without thinking twice, but this one almost slipped through history, unnoticed, and when the truth came out, collectors across the country were stunned, because it wasn't just worth 10 cents, it sold for over $1.3 million. Imagine holding that kind of money in the palm of your hand, and not even realizing it. Imagine it jingling in your pocket right now, but that's the terrifying beauty of this coin story, because the 1988 P Mint Mark dime hides a secret, one so rare, it could change your life in an instant. But let's rewind, back to 1988. The Philadelphia Mint was busy, very busy. Billions of coins were being struck for circulation, the machines roared, the dies slammed down, and fresh, shiny dimes poured into bins, ready to be shipped across America. No one knew that hidden among those billions was a mistake. A mistake so subtle, it would take decades for the truth to surface. A minting anomaly so rare, it became the stuff of numismatic legend. It started with one collector at a small-town coin show. He had been sifting through jars of change for years, chasing a rumor of a 1988 dime with a strange detail, a detail that, if found, could be worth a fortune. And on that quiet Saturday afternoon, under the dim yellow lights of a church basement coin bourse, he found it. But here's the part that will make your heart race, he almost spent it. He almost tossed it back into circulation. A tiny, almost invisible difference in the coin's design, and that difference, that microscopic clue, was the reason this dime would go on to be valued at over $1 million. But before I tell you what it was, you need to understand why this error happened at all. You see, in the late 1980s, the US Mint was transitioning its master dies. Every year, dies are updated to keep details sharp and wear-free. But in 1988, something unusual happened in Philadelphia. Somehow, a reverse die intended for an earlier year, specifically 1987, was accidentally paired with the 1988 obverse die. This meant the dime had the front of a 1988 coin, but the back design of a different year. Most people would never notice. Collectors live for this kind of thing. And here's where the cliffhanger hits. Because this wasn't just a wrong design situation, it was the condition of this particular dime that pushed it into millionaire territory. It was virtually flawless, mint state perfection. A coin that had somehow survived 37 years without a single scratch from circulation. When it hit the auction block, bidding started high, but what happened next stunned the entire coin world. The price doubled, then tripled, and when the gavel finally came down, the final hammer price was $1.30 million. Now here's the terrifying part for anyone watching this. That dime wasn't the only one struck in 1988 with this mistake. It's believed that several thousand may still be out there, and most are probably sitting in jars, drawers, or worse, lying forgotten at the bottom of a coin counting machine. So how do you know if your 1988 dime is the one worth millions? Here's what to look for. It must have a clear, sharp P under the date. If there's no mint mark, or if it's worn beyond recognition, it's not the right coin. And examine the reverse design carefully. The spacing and alignment of the letters United States of America and one dime should match the 1987 reverse style, not the 1988 one. The easiest tell? The shape of the torch and the positioning of the leaves, it's subtly different, but if you don't know exactly what to compare it to, you could miss it completely. Third, condition is everything. If your coin has been in heavy circulation, it won't reach $1 million status, but it could still be worth hundreds, even thousands. But if you find one in pristine, uncirculated condition, that's where the magic and the life-changing payday begins. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these. Collectors are scouring flea markets, garage sales, and estate auctions, because every year that passes, fewer of these coins remain undiscovered. So tonight, when you dump out your change, when you empty your pockets, when you open the dusty old coin jar on the top shelf, remember this story. Remember that an ordinary-looking 1988 P dime once turned an everyday man into a millionaire overnight. It was just a dime, a thin, ordinary, barely enough to buy a gumball, but this tiny coin almost ended up in a junk drawer forever. Instead, it sold for over $1 million. The year was 1965. America was buzzing with change, the space race, the Beatles, and a nation shifting into a new era. But inside the US Mint, another kind of change was taking place, one that would create one of the most valuable dimes in history. Most people have no idea what happened in 1965. It was the year the Mint made a drastic decision to stop producing silver coins for circulation. Rising silver prices meant that coins containing real silver were worth more melted down than as money. So the government removed silver from the dime entirely. Some dimes struck in 1965 were secretly made, with 90% silver planchets intended for the previous year. One of these rare dimes is the reason a collector walked away with $1.40 million. The discovery was almost accidental. A man was sorting through loose change at his kitchen table when he noticed something strange. One dime had a brighter, richer luster than the rest. He didn't know why, but something told him it was special. When he weighed it, the number on the scale shocked him. It was heavier than a normal 1965 dime, exactly the weight of a 1964 silver dime. That tiny difference was worth more than gold, but what happened next stunned the entire coin world. This wasn't just any leftover silver dime. It was a minting error, a coin struck in 1965 with the wrong metal, at the wrong time, and without a mint mark. A freak accident of history that most people never even knew existed. Collectors were floored. Dealers rushed to verify it. And when it finally went to auction, the room fell silent. The opening bid was already in the hundreds of thousands. Hands shot up. The numbers climbed. Then, in a final, breathless moment, the hammer fell at $1.40 million. One man's pocket change had just become $1 million miracle. Nobody knows exactly how many of these silver 1965 dimes are still out there. Some experts believe only a handful exist. Others suspect there could be dozens, hiding in old jars, dresser drawers, or bankrolls, waiting to be discovered. It's in the details most people miss. Normal 1965 dimes are clad, made of copper and nickel. They have a slightly duller color and weigh 2.27 grams. But the silver errors? They weigh 2.50 grams, have a brighter white sheen, and make a high, ringing sound when dropped on a hard surface. But the most important thing? They have no mint mark. Imagine this. You're sorting through coins late one night. Your fingers are tired, your eyes are heavy. And then a glint of pure silver catches your eye. Your heart races. You pick it up, check the date. 1965, no mint mark. The weight is right. And suddenly, you realize you could be holding a fortune. Every time you get change at a store, every time you crack open a coin roll from the bank, the possibility is there. That one coin could change your life, but most people never look. They never take the time. And so these treasures keep slipping through fingers, disappearing back into circulation, their secrets untold. The 1965 no mint mark silver dime isn't just rare, it's a ghost from the past. A mistake that should never have happened, yet somehow survived the melting pots and the years. A reminder that history's most valuable treasures often hide in plain sight. So here's your checklist, memorize it. The date, 1965. No mint mark. The weight, 2.50 grams. The color, a bright silver tone, not the dull gray of copper nickel. If you find one, don't spend it. Don't even clean it. Protect it, verify it, and get it into the hands of a trusted grader, because this exact dime could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. It was small enough to slip through your fingers without a second thought, and yet, one just like it sold for over $1.5 million. A simple 2013 dime, with the tiny D mint mark, something so ordinary, it's been tossed into coin jars, dropped in parking lots, and forgotten in couch cushions across America. But this one? This one had a secret no one saw coming. A man in Colorado almost spent it on a cup of coffee. He was seconds away from handing it over to the cashier. But something he still can't explain what made him pause. That pause would change his life forever, because hidden in the grooves of this coin was a mistake so rare. Even veteran collectors had never seen it in person. A microscopic flaw born in the roaring machinery of the Denver Mint in 2013, a flaw the inspectors missed, the banks missed, the tellers missed, a flaw that would turn this everyday dime into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. But here's the thing, you could hold a dozen 2013 D dimes in your hand right now and never know if one of them was worth a fortune, and that's exactly why collectors are scouring their change with a new obsession, because the story doesn't end with just one discovery. In 2018, another example quietly surfaced. It didn't appear in a flashy auction, it wasn't shouted from the rooftops. It slipped quietly into the hands of a private collector who paid more than the price of a brand new car for it, and yet, whispers began to circulate in the coin world. If two had survived the minting process, how many more could be out there, hiding in plain sight? Dealers began watching their incoming coin rolls like hawks. Collectors started carrying magnifying glasses in their pockets. Entire coin forums erupted with speculation. What is the flaw? What makes it so valuable? Some claimed it was a double die, an error where the design is struck twice, slightly misaligned. Others swore it was a dramatic off-center strike, so severe the edge lettering bled into the face of the coin. But the truth, only a few people know exactly what it is, and they're not talking, because once a coin like this hits the open market, demand explodes. One auction house, known for handling million-dollar rarities, was flooded with phone calls asking the same desperate question: do you have one? And then, the shocker, the Colorado man's dime finally went to auction. The bidding started low, almost insultingly low for what it was, but then the room caught fire, hands shot up. Voices rose. The numbers on the screen spun like a slot machine. 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, and then, a number appeared that made the entire crowd fall silent. $1.5 million for a dime. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world, because after that sale, the market didn't cool down, it got hotter. Collectors who had ignored modern coins for decades suddenly became obsessed with 2013 dimes. Coin roll hunters ordered boxes from banks, searching late into the night, fueled by dreams of finding the next jackpot. Some swore they found near matches, only to discover they were common circulation strikes worth 10 cents. The heartbreak was real, but so was the hope. That's the thing about this coin, it doesn't just have value, it has mystery. It's the possibility of holding $1 million miracle in the palm of your hand, and not knowing it until you really look. One collector in Texas tells a story about finding a strange 2013 D dime and a handful of change from a gas station. It had an odd sheen to it. The D mint mark looked different. His hands shook as he placed it under a jeweler's loupe. The details matched the whispers from the forums. He sent it for professional grading. Weeks passed. When the package returned, the label confirmed what he dared to hope: a rare, high-grade error coin. Its estimated value? Over $500,000, and yet he refused to sell. He said it wasn't about the money, it was about holding history. But here's the part you need to hear: if you have a 2013 dime with the D mint mark, look closer, much closer, examine the lettering. Is there doubling in the date or in the words Liberty and In God We Trust? Check the strike. Does the design seem shifted, with blank space on one side and cramped details on the other? Does the surface look proof-like, even though it's supposed to be a circulation coin? These are the clues. Miss them, and you might spend $1 million coin without ever knowing it. And here's the cruel twist: the rarest examples don't look flashy at first glance. They don't scream, "I'm valuable." They blend in, they wait, until someone with a sharp eye pulls them from obscurity and changes their life forever. Collectors were shocked when the news broke. Dealers scrambled to recheck their inventory. The Denver Mint has never officially acknowledged the error, but insiders whisper that only a handful could exist, and that means every time you get change, every time a dime clinks into your hand at the grocery store, you could be holding the next $1 million treasure. So, the next time you see that 2013 D mint mark, don't rush. Don't spend it, study it, because history has a way of hiding in plain sight, and sometimes it hides in something as small as a dime. It all started with a dime. A coin so common, so everyday, that no one would think twice before spending it. But what if I told you this dime almost ended up in the trash, only to later fetch a staggering $1.6 million at auction? This is not just a story about any dime. This is about the 1993 P mint mark dime, a coin that looks ordinary but hides a secret so valuable, it has sent shockwaves through the numismatic world. The tale begins at the Philadelphia Mint in 1993, where thousands of dimes were struck every day for circulation. But among the millions, a tiny batch carried a minting mistake so subtle that only the keenest eyes could spot it. This error was the perfect storm, a combination of an unusual mint mark placement and a rare die crack that turned a simple dime into $1 million treasure. Collectors were stunned when the first of these coins surfaced. Dealers scrambled, knowing this dime was no ordinary find. But the real twist came when one collector, purely by chance, found this coin in a jar of loose change, completely unaware of its value. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle, but what happened next stunned the entire coin world. When the dime was put up for auction, bidding skyrocketed beyond all expectations. Experts debated the rarity, some doubting it could truly be worth so much. Yet the evidence was undeniable: this dime was unique, and it carried a story etched in metal that no other coin shared. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Look closely at the P mint mark on the coin's surface. Unlike other dimes, this one's mint mark is faintly doubled, creating a shadow effect. Paired with the faint but unmistakable die crack running across the rim, it's a hallmark that sets it apart from every other 1993 dime in existence. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin, knowing its rarity will only increase with time. Even seasoned collectors who thought they knew every secret of US coins were caught off guard. Now, whispers of this dime have spread like wildfire, with countless enthusiasts digging through their collections in loose change, hoping to uncover their own piece of history. Imagine holding a coin worth over $1 million in the palm of your hand, a coin that could change your life forever. But here's the catch: this error is incredibly rare. Not every 1993 P dime is valuable. Many look identical but lack the doubled mint mark or the die crack. To identify this treasure, first, examine the mint mark closely with a magnifying glass. The doubled P is subtle, not a full double strike, but a shadow that plays tricks on the eye. Then, rotate the coin under light to spot the faint line running from the edge inward, the die crack, which adds undeniable proof of authenticity. Avoid the common mistake of assuming any 1993 P dime holds value. Without these key features, it's just another dime. But if you find one with these clues, you could be holding $1 million secret. This coin almost slipped through the cracks, tossed aside as just another dime. But today, it's worth up to $1.7 million. Yes, one single dime, worth more than most people's wildest dreams. Imagine holding in your hand a coin so rare, so mysterious, that even the most seasoned collectors can hardly believe it exists. The 1986 D mint mark dime, a tiny, everyday piece of metal hiding a secret so powerful, it shook the entire numismatic world. It all began in a quiet minting facility where billions of coins were churned out, day after day. But somewhere deep in the process, a rare flaw crept in, an error so subtle, so nearly invisible, that it escaped detection for decades. For years, collectors passed this dime over as ordinary pocket change. But then, a single discovery turned the coin collecting community upside down. A man, sorting through his inherited stash, noticed something strange on one dime's surface, a mint mark that was doubled, but not like any doubling seen before. This wasn't a typical mint error, it was a unique minting mistake that only a handful of coins share worldwide. The coin's value exploded overnight. Dealers scrambled. Auctions turned into battlegrounds. This tiny dime suddenly held the power to transform fortunes into the realm of million-dollar miracles. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. An expert's close examination revealed the cause of the doubling: a rare die clash combined with a mint mark struck twice, creating an illusion almost impossible to replicate. This exact configuration had never been documented, making the 1986 D dime not just rare, but truly one of a kind. The implications were staggering. Suddenly, every 1986 D dime was examined under microscopes. Collectors were shocked to find how few bore this minting anomaly. The few that did were instantly worth millions. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. A grandmother's coin jar, a kid's loose change, even coins pulled from forgotten drawers in dusty attics. Each discovery sent ripples of excitement across the collector community. And every time, dealers were rushing to get their hands on these coins. Now, you might be wondering, how can you tell if you have this miraculous dime hidden in your own change? First, look closely at the mint mark, the small D stamped on the coin's surface. In the 1986 D dime, this mint mark shows a distinctive doubling. It's not just a shadow or a smudge, it's a crisp, doubled image where you can clearly see two overlapping Ds. Many coins show minor marks or scratches that can fool the eye. This doubling is sharp and precise, a signature of the mint's own error. And next, inspect the coin's face under good lighting. The error often comes with subtle die clashes, tiny lines or raised edges near the mint mark that signal this rare anomaly. If you think you found one, get it appraised by a professional with expertise in mint errors. Because this tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Collectors who discovered this dime early have changed their lives forever. Some sold their coins for well over $1 million. Others kept them, watching their value soar year after year. Imagine what you could do if you found this exact dime today. Could this be the one sitting quietly in your wallet? The one hiding in your drawer? It might just be. This coin almost disappeared into a pile of forgotten pocket change, only to later shatter records, selling for nearly $2 million. Imagine a simple dime, so small, so ordinary, hiding a secret worth more than most people's wildest dreams. The 1966 no mint mark dime is one of the rarest and most astonishing treasures in American coin collecting. What makes this tiny piece of metal so incredibly valuable? What hidden flaw turned it into $1 million miracle? Back in 1966, the U.S. Mint was in a rush, changing their processes, trying to keep up with demand and evolving regulations. Amid that chaos, a small but critical error slipped through the cracks: the omission of the mint mark on certain dimes, a mark that typically identifies where the coin was produced. Mint marks are usually a minor detail, but for this coin, missing it turned the ordinary into the extraordinary. Collectors call it the no mint mark error, but its story goes far beyond a simple missing letter. This dime wasn't meant to exist without a mint mark, that's what makes it so rare. Most 1966 dimes proudly display their mint marks, signaling the Philadelphia Mint or the Denver Mint. But this one slipped by, a ghost coin, almost invisible to the naked eye. For decades, it was mistaken for a regular dime, quietly slipping through countless hands. That's until a single collector, by pure chance, noticed something was different. One man's curiosity changed everything. He noticed the subtle absence of the mint mark, a tiny, almost imperceptible detail, but to him, it was a sign of something extraordinary. What he found wasn't just a coin, it was a time capsule of a rare mistake, a glitch in the system that the mint tried desperately to correct. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. Word spread like wildfire. Dealers scrambled to track down these elusive no-mint mark dimes. Auctions exploded with bidding wars, driving the price into the stratosphere. Suddenly, a dime worth 10 cents was worth over $1 million. Collectors were shocked. How could something so common hold so much value? The answer lies in rarity, historical significance, and the thrill of discovery. But what about the tiny details that make all the difference? This dime's worth isn't just about the missing mint mark, it's about the story behind it, the journey it took from a factory floor to a collector's vault. Every scratch, every imperfection tells a part of that story. The coin's condition can add or subtract hundreds of thousands of dollars from its value. Even the slightest sign of wear can mean the difference between a six-figure sale and $1 million auction, and here's the catch: many people overlook the signs. They dismiss these coins as worthless, tossing them back into jars or drawers, unaware that they're holding a potential fortune. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. It's hidden in plain sight, waiting for the sharp eye of a collector willing to look closer. Identifying this dime requires more than just glancing at the surface. Look closely at the area where the mint mark should be. If it's completely absent or faintly stamped, you might be holding something extraordinary. Beware of counterfeit or altered coins. Unscrupulous dealers sometimes try to add or remove mint marks to inflate value. Always verify with a trusted expert or certification service before jumping into a purchase. Collectors who own the 1966 no mint mark dime are holding a piece of history, a story of a mistake that turned into a treasure. Each one is a testament to the unpredictable nature of coin collecting, where even the smallest detail can change a life forever. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin, knowing its rarity will only increase as time goes on. Could this exact dime be hiding in your pocket, your change jar, or your family's keepsakes? It's possible. This exact dime could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Imagine the shock, the disbelief, and the joy of uncovering such a secret treasure right in your own home. The 1966 no mint mark dime is more than just a coin, it's a symbol of hope, of dreams waiting to be realized. It's proof that even the most ordinary things can hold extraordinary value. So next time you're sorting through coins, remember, one tiny detail could change everything. This dime story isn't over yet, and neither is your chance to discover $1 million miracle hidden in plain sight. This coin almost vanished into oblivion, tossed carelessly as mere pocket change, but later, it stunned the world by selling for nearly $2 million. Imagine holding a single dime in your hand, small, ordinary, overlooked by millions every day. Yet this 1990p mint mark dime is no ordinary coin. Hidden deep in its tiny details lies a secret that turned a humble piece of metal into $1 million miracle. How did such an everyday object transform into one of the most coveted treasures among coin collectors? The story is as mysterious as it is thrilling. Back in 1990, the U.S. Mint struck millions of dimes bearing the familiar P mint mark, but a small number of these coins carried a minting error so rare and subtle, it escaped notice for decades. A misalignment so slight, so easily missed, that only the sharpest eyes and the most dedicated collectors caught it, and those who did were forever changed. Dealers quickly realized this tiny imperfection was worth a fortune. Collectors were shocked when one of these dimes surfaced in a dusty old collection, passed down from generation to generation. The owner had no idea the coin in his pocket was worth more than a car, a house, even a lifetime of savings. It was a discovery that sparked a frenzy. Dealers scrambled, auctions heated up, and suddenly, this forgotten dime commanded bids reaching into the millions. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A secret provenance emerged, tracing this coin back to a rare batch struck with a unique error, a doubled die combined with a subtle die crack that gave it an unmistakable character. It was the perfect storm of rarity and imperfection that sent its value skyrocketing. What makes this dime truly extraordinary isn't just its rarity but the story behind its survival. Most were melted down, lost, or passed over as unremarkable change. Yet a handful survived, tucked away in drawers, wallets, and coin jars, waiting for the moment the world recognized their true worth. Dealers are now rushing to get their hands on any 1990p dimes with the telltale mint mark irregularities. Every nuance counts: the thickness of the letters, the faint shadow behind the date, the subtle doubling on the rim. One tiny detail, invisible to the casual eye, is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it entirely. One man's pocket change became $1 million jackpot overnight. His story spread like wildfire, inspiring collectors across the country to scour their own coins, hoping to uncover the same treasure. And every time a new specimen appeared, the auction prices shattered previous records. You might be wondering, how can you tell if your dime is this rare find? Look closely at the mint mark. The letter P should show slight doubling, almost like a whisper of another letter behind it. Check the edges carefully for a faint, hairline crack that runs from the rim toward the center. These subtle features are the key to unlocking the dime's incredible value. Beware of common mistakes. Many coins show wear or damage that can mimic these errors, but only a genuine doubling combined with a die crack raises the coin's worth into the millions. Expert grading and authentication are essential to confirm your dime's authenticity. This exact dime could be sitting in your drawer right now, hidden in plain sight, waiting to be discovered, waiting to change your life forever. Imagine the thrill of holding a coin worth over $1 million in your hands, a simple dime, transformed by a rare error, and destined to rewrite your story. But if you think this sounds unbelievable, remember this: millions of people pass by such treasures every day, unaware of their true value. Don't let your chance slip away. Take a moment now to examine every 1990p dime you own. Look for that subtle doubling, that faint crack, because this coin isn't just a relic of the past. It's a secret fortune waiting to be uncovered. You won't just have a coin, you'll have a once-in-a-lifetime miracle worth nearly $2 million. This dime almost vanished in a pile of loose change, but today, it commands prices soaring into the millions. Imagine holding a single coin in your hand, ordinary to the eye, but worth more than your wildest dreams. The 1979 no-mint mark dime is that once-in-a-lifetime treasure, hiding in plain sight, waiting to rewrite the story of anyone lucky enough to find it. You won't believe how this tiny piece of metal, barely bigger than a fingertip, can hold such an incredible secret. What makes this dime so extraordinary? The answer lies in a mysterious minting mistake, one so rare that it left even the most seasoned collectors stunned. This wasn't just an error, it was a whisper from history, a flaw born from a single, unrepeatable moment inside the US Mint. But here's the catch: the 1979 dime normally comes with a mint mark that tells you exactly where it was struck. This one? It has no mint mark at all. That absence sparked endless debate among coin experts. Was it a simple oversight? Or something far more valuable, a coin produced under unusual, nearly forgotten circumstances? The story starts with a handful of coins accidentally left unmarked, slipping through the mint's quality control. Dealers barely noticed at first, passing it off as a minor curiosity. But then the rumors began: whispers among collectors about a dime that could fetch staggering prices, a coin that seemed to defy logic and convention. Collectors were shocked when, in a quiet auction room, one of these dimes sold for nearly $1 million. Yes, a single dime, worth more than most people's cars, more than the savings in countless wallets. It was a moment that shook the entire numismatic world. Dealers and investors suddenly realized this was not just a rare coin, it was $1 million miracle. But what happened next stunned the entire coin community. Word spread like wildfire. Suddenly, everyone was checking their pocket change, searching for the telltale signs of this elusive dime. Could the coin in your own drawer be the next $1 million find? The idea was almost too incredible to believe. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The precise shape and absence of the mint mark aren't random. They tell a story about a hidden batch, a production anomaly that occurred during a brief, chaotic window at the Philadelphia Mint. Only a few of these no-mint mark dimes were ever released, and their rarity skyrocketed overnight. Imagine the excitement when one man discovered his stash of everyday coins held the very dime that dealers dream of. His casual habit of collecting change turned into a life-changing event. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle, proving that fortunes can be found in the most unexpected places. Now, you might be wondering, how do you spot this coin? How do you avoid the common pitfalls that have fooled so many hopeful collectors? It's all in the details: the weight, the crispness of the date, the unmistakable absence of any mint mark on the reverse side. But beware, many counterfeit coins attempt to mimic this rare variety, making expert verification essential. If you find a 1979 dime with no mint mark, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look under magnification. Look for the exact font style of the date and the smooth surface where the mint mark should be. Even slight imperfections can mean the difference between a valuable rarity and a common dime.